Hello, Movie Crusaders, and welcome to my latest episode. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and today I'm reviewing one of the more talked about horror films of 2022, Smile. This was a movie that when I saw the trailer for it, I was kind of on the fence about because A, it looks like a very much like a straight to Netflix or streaming service kind of horror film, but there were some scares in it that were incredibly intriguing. I will say basically the car door scare was one that made me go, oh damn. But nonetheless, it was a movie that I wasn't necessarily rushing to theaters to see because I was expecting it to be one of those films that all the good stuff was in the trailer and the movie wasn't really that good. But there have been a ton of reviews coming out about how great Smile is, and it's the horror film of 2022. Now, I take a lot of that with a grain of salt because a lot of people blow horror movies out of proportion. I mean, this is the same people that think It Follows is one of the scariest horror films in the last 20 plus years, and It Follows is a heaping pile of dog crap. Nonetheless, this was a film that I finally did check out, and let's see exactly what I thought about it. General plot synopsis of Smile is after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Excuse me. For me, this is a movie that I mentioned this during my mass review about Hellraiser. The problem that I have with certain horror films is if you can't get yourself behind the lead characters or any of the characters in the film, then there's really no point in a horror film to work. Unless you're just rooting for the killer or whatever. Like if you're watching a Halloween or Friday the 13th or, Nightmare on Elm Street, are you rooting for the final girl and her friends to overcome Michael, Freddy, and Jason? Or do you just want Freddy and Jason and Michael to kill everybody? And then inevitably at the end of the film, when Michael, Freddy, and Jason lose/die, are you satisfied with that? And if the answer is yes, then great, cool, that's happy for you. But for me, I need to like the final girl. I need to like her friends. So that way when they do inevitably die, there is a little bit of emotional weight to it. Not like I said that I'm going to cry or anything, but to the point where I'm going, oh, not that guy, I was hoping he was going to survive, or, oh man, I really like that girl. And for me, that's what helps elevate a horror film from just being a pointless horror film about a slasher or something like a Freddy and Jason, where you're just watching them, scene after scene of them just killing people until the movie ends, to elevating it to a film like a Scream, where you care about the characters, you care about who's going to live and die because you've grown to enjoy these characters on screen. And the problem with Smile is there is never a point in this movie where I give a rat's ass about anyone on screen. Sosie Bacon, I don't think I ever really gave a crap about her character throughout this movie. She doesn't necessarily, outside of just being the final girl and having this stuff happen to her, there's nothing really anything in this movie that makes me actually like her as a character. She's just there. This entity or whatever you want to call the Smile thing is forced on her, and never is there a moment of the film where they build anything towards her character that makes you go, oh, I believe this character. Oh, I'm outside of like something that happened in her past, but it's not enough to really for you to care about this character. And then there's a twist at the end of the movie that kind of makes you take a step back on that character. Her fiance, Jesse D. Usher, I like the actor, but his character is remotely unlikable throughout this whole film. The only character that actually probably has any remote likeness to him is Cal Penn, who plays her boss, who is barely in the movie at all, or Kyle Gallner, who is basically her ex-boyfriend, which, once again, not in the movie enough for you to care about his character nearly as much. Smile tries its best to basically be like It Follows meets The Ring. And it fails at doing both. Actually, no, it doesn't feel like being It Follows, because It Follows sucks, and Smile's not that good either. My general fear was acknowledged. All the greatest scares in this movie are in the trailers, outside of, like, the last 10 minutes. And even then, the last 10 minutes that happen is so kind of comically like, what? then that it doesn't, it takes me out of the movie because they try to go so far into this extreme, and you're not building up to that. You're building up to this just creepy smile thing, and it makes you basically kill yourself. And then it gets to this one point in the movie where it does this way left field thing, and you're supposed to just be like, okay. And it's like, no, like there's no like build to this. It just happens, and it just doesn't work. And like there's this one scare they did a couple times near the end of the film that visually looks good. It has to do with the face, and I know that doesn't give a whole lot, but I'm trying not to spoil it. Which both times I'm like, that looked good, but the movie is too far gone now for me to go, that helps elevate this whole film. And the problem, like I said, is it tries to be like The Ring, where with The Ring, you watch the video, you got 7 days, and you're basically being haunted, and she's trying to find out ways to end the curse, or to not have the curse happen to her, and then, we inevitably find out what happens in The Ring. And this movie is basically following that same blueprint, but the problem is that it's not doing it at not the same kind of rate, but it's not doing it with the same success. It feels like a Ring knockoff that's trying to do something with It Follows, basically in the point of like only they can see it, no one else can see it kind of thing. That's what I mean. It's not like a fucking STD ghost like It Follows is, but it's one of those things where she can only see the person smiling, no one else can kind of deal. But there's also, it's just like, like there's certain characters that are, like I said, they're just unlikable. Her sister, for example, is... It's a stupid character. It's a stupid nothing character. And when it's thrown in, it just takes you out of the film to show, once again, that you just don't like these characters. And like I said, the scares, they're in the trailer outside of the last 10 minutes. So if anything, watch the last 10 minutes of the movie, and if that intrigues you, maybe watch the rest of it. But for me, Smile was a complete letdown. And once again, it just makes me not trust the mass media of people who talk highly about horror films, because most of them just will like anything bloody or like anything that's just kind of remotely has jump scares. But once again, all those jump scares were in the trailer. And it's just, I'm constantly disappointed by the people who say that this movie's the scariest movie and blah, blah, blah. It's such a bullshit tagline. And more times than not, it's not a good horror film. And Smile is, once again, one of those movies. The concept is there, aka the concept of copying The Ring and copying It Follows and doing something with the Truth or Dare smile. And it's trying to mix those three movies together, and it just does not work for me. It works for a lot of people, apparently, but it did not work for me. And mainly because there's not a likable character out of this bunch enough for you to give a shit about the outcome of their lives or the outcome of the film overall. So for me, Smile does not work. I'm going to give Smile a 44%. The effective scares do work, even though you've seen them like 18 times in trailers before the movie actually comes out. But ultimately, it's an overrated film that is not nearly as good as what it's talked up to be. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on the Movie Crusaders. And of course, hit the follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Videos out right now. We got reviews for Rosalind. We have a mass review of 5 films for Dead for a Dollar, Luckiest Girl Alive, Mr. Hannigan's Phone, Hellraiser, and The Curse of Bridge Hollow, as well as reviews coming for Amsterdam and Halloween Ends, as well as reviews next week for Black Adam, and then Brian Michaels and myself will be back in a couple weeks to shoot a season wrap-up of She-Hulk, House of the Dragon, and Rings of Power. So check out all those videos, and until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.